everybody, Pastor Nathan here, and I'm in the Volkswagen Beetle because over the last month as we started doing outdoor drive-in church services, this old Volkswagen Beetle became kind of the church mascot. And so a few of you have asked for a little bit of a tour of the car, and so me and my assistant, Stanley, say hi, Stanley. We're going to show you around our old Volkswagen. Our Volkswagen is a 1974 Volkswagen Super Beetle. And Stanley, what's your favorite part of the Beetle?
It's tiny and it's orange.
Those are two very true things about it. It is tiny and it is orange. We're inside here, and as you can see, it is pretty small. It seats 4 people, including for us, because Stanley is 4, going to be turning 5 this week, and his brother is 7. We got car seat and a booster seat in the back so that they can sit back there. Everything in the Beetle is small. Even though we don't have air conditioning, we do have a vent that blows some air, and so we've got these little blowers that are about the size of a quarter. All right, Stanley, why don't you show us how the windows work here? Can you believe it? There's not a button you push, there's a crank that you turn. With the windows within reach from both spots, that's easy enough to have manual windows, manual door locks as well. And I can easily put my hands out both windows when the windows are down. It's that small. My arms reach way wider than this car. So good job with the windows, Stanley. And here is the dash of the Super Beetle. You can see not a whole lot of fancy gauges or electronics here. No need. It is a 4-speed manual transmission, so there's your little guide for how to run through the gears. And as we look at the speedometer, there it says on the odometer, 26,923 miles. That was accurate at one point, and it's accurate actually every day because it hasn't moved in decades. That's just stuck there. So Stanley, why don't you show us over here? I guess we do have a radio. Why don't you show us the radio? Look at that. We did put a new stereo that has Bluetooth and some ways to plug in music, so that's pretty cool. And what's in that little glove compartment, Stanley? Oh my gosh. A glove compartment. Perfect home for your little stuffed animals.
This one is named Bunny and this one's named Woofy.
Awesome. And if we look to the back seat, you can kind of see where we got the car seat set up in here so our little guys can ride in here. There's 2 seats, whether you're an adult or a kid. That's all they can fit back there. One thing that was kind of ripped up when we first got the Beetle was the headliner right back here had a little bit of a rip and was all kind of rotted out. And rather than change the whole headliner, I just bought some fabric that matches perfectly, some vinyl. I know it's not a perfect match, but I got it at Joann Fabric for real cheap, and it works good enough for me. We also, when we got the Beetle, changed out the carpet back here, which is also rotted out, and put in a couple of new speakers to go along with that sound system. One of the kids' favorite things in the back here was when they found these special secret compartments that they always put stuff in. Of course, those are cigarette ashtrays, but the kids these days aren't smoking in the back, so they hold all kinds of garbage and coins and whatever else they can find. Well, we're going to jump out of the car here and show you the outside, but first I wanted to just say, if you have a story about a Beetle, would love for you to share that in the comments. It seems like everyone has either owned one or had a friend who owned one or family member, or maybe they drove in it. Just this morning when I was dropping Stanley off at preschool, one of the other kids' grandmas stopped and she said, "Oh, I love your Volkswagen. I learned to drive stick on a Volkswagen Beetle." And so I bet you maybe have a story about a Volkswagen too. So drop it in the comments. We'd love that. You can go ahead and like the video as well. That'd be great. And if you want to follow the church for more updates, you can subscribe to our page, which has everything from church worship services to tours of 1974 Volkswagen Beetles. So what's not to like? So anyway, Stanley, why don't you show us this one last thing inside? This cargo light. Look at that. It is small and it is not very bright, but that's what you get with a little Super Beetle. So all right, should we jump outside, Stan?
Yep.
Let's do it. All right, here we are right in front of the Powered by Love mural here in beautiful downtown Elk River. And we're outside the car here. As you can see, like Stanley said earlier, the color is bright orange on our Beetle. And let's start by looking under the hood. Stanley, should we look in here? Check out the engine?
Yeah.
Oh no, wait a second. There's no engine in there. What happened? What happened? Of course, the engine is in the back in these old Volkswagens. So inside here what we have is a couple of owner's manuals, I guess a couple shop manuals, including this one, the must-have for all vintage Volkswagen owners, how to keep your Volkswagen alive. We've got this old suitcase that has some tools and parts in it, as well as a little bit of extra oil and some wrenches.
And this is a helicopter.
And you found a helicopter maple seed. That's awesome. The other things that are under here that you can't really see is one is right here is the gas tank. So that's where the gas tank is. And you see kind of this evaporator system that I guess is supposed to control the gas evaporation. One of the funky things on these old Volkswagens that they did was this is the windshield washer fluid. We have these very little windshield wipers there. And the windshield washer fluid actually runs with air pressure. There's a spare tire under here. I won't pull it all out to show it, but this connects with a little hose to the spare tire, and it uses the air pressure of the spare tire to squirt the washer fluid out. Now, believe it or not, after 45 years, it doesn't hold pressure anymore, so it doesn't work for me, but I did try it, and I was really hoping it would work, but seals were all dried up, so it didn't go. So that's one thing that doesn't work, but it's okay. We don't drive it in the dust and rain and bugs much anyway, do we, Stanley? All right, well, let's pull back here. We'll close the hood. All right, so here we are in the outside. We'll do a little walk around here. I also got these little custom eyebrows on here. One time I was needing to order some parts online and I needed $8 more to get free shipping. So I added those to my cart for $8 and I got free shipping, but I kind of like the way they look. Here on the outside, you kind of see the Beetle. The other thing I've got on the top here is a roof rack. We've got our old vintage luggage just sitting up there right now, but we've got this roof rack. This is not vintage, but I did pick it up on eBay a few years ago. It is actual wood slats and steel, kind of vintage style, and it's a cool look, and it's also functional. We always use the roof rack when we go fishing, don't we, Stanley? What do we put up there?
Fishing rods
Fishing rods.
and stuff to catch fish.
And all the stuff to catch fish, our tackle boxes and stuff, yeah. So we are the third owners of this 1974 Volkswagen Beetle. The first owner bought it new in 1974 in Mankato, Minnesota, and we got to learn a little bit about the history. He bought it new and he quit driving it in the mid-'80s. Not sure exactly why, but it sat then for a while when then the second owners purchased it and they restored it at that time, and it had been in that family then until 2.5 years ago when we bought it. And so it was originally bright orange, and there in 1996 it got repainted again bright orange, and so it's still orange, and the paint is not perfect. Heck, that paint job is 25 years old now, and so it shows some wear. It's got some dings, and that is just fine with us because I've got kids who've got these bikes and scooters, and if I had a perfect paint job, I'd be nervous all the time that they're going to scratch it, but now they scratch it, and that's okay. So now we're getting back to this backside here, and this is the engine compartment. We've got our deck lid here. We can open up, and there you can see the motor. Volkswagen's got a 4-cylinder motor, and nothing too fancy, but it is air-cooled, which means it doesn't have a radiator that has water to cool it, but instead it's just got a big old fan. So you can kind of see the fan in the back there. It's wrapped in tin, so you can't actually see the fan, but that's where it is. And the engine spins that fan, and that fan cools the engine to keep it from overheating. And big muscle car fans, eat your hearts out. This engine is 60 horsepower. Can you believe it? This car has the power of 60 horses. That's pretty powerful, isn't it, Stanley?
Wait, so it can lift that much stuff?
It can lift 60 horses. I don't know if it can lift 60 horses, but it has 60 horses of power.
So it's that fast?
It's that fast. Well, I'm far from an expert when it comes to mechanics or this engine, but I've learned a little bit about it and I've enjoyed working on it some. That's the good thing about these old Beetles. They're pretty simple to work on. I've got the main pulley coming off the engine here, which via belt spins this pulley for the alternator, which is, of course, where your power comes from, but it's also what spins that big fan. It is air-cooled engine after all, so that's a really important belt to keep running so you can keep your engine nice and cool. But yeah, you can see some of the other main parts there. You got your distributor sending electricity to keep those pistons firing. You got your fuel pump there and carburetor on top, and then air filter on the very top. And Yeah, it's a nice simple little engine that does the trick and keeps those 60 horses running. Well, if we pull back out then here, you can see the last side of the car here. I got my assistant Stanley chilling inside. Like I said before, the paint's not perfect. It's got a few little chips and stuff, but we just love running this Beetle and having a lot of good times driving it around town. Well, thanks so much for taking our little tour of the 1974 Volkswagen Super Beetle today. And again, go ahead and share your Beetle story in the comment section. We'd love that. If you share your story of if you owned a Beetle or have driven a Beetle or had friends who had one, family that had one, share those Beetle stories. They're so fun to hear and to read. And so go ahead and share that in the comments. If you like the video, you can give us a like. We appreciate that. And if you want more videos, anything from car tours to church services, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel here too. Again, thanks for coming along. Stanley, you want to say goodbye to everyone?
Bye.
All right, bye everybody. Keep driving, stay safe, have fun.